I believe that learning isn't something that happens to you, it is something you do. You don't learn how to golf or play football by watching sports. Teachers don't learn how to use new technology by watching someone else use technology. We need to use it ourselves. In the same way, students don't learn math by watching teachers do math. They learn when they are able to take an active role in their learning experience. Teachers can't be lecturers only and expect students to learn. We must create an environment that encourages students to take responsibility for their own learning. Students must find relevance in what they are learning. Teachers should be facilitators of learning. I loved playing games as a kid, and I especially loved games that required running. My third grade math teacher, Miss Sloan, encouraged us to play games to learn. My classmates and I very quickly learned our multiplication facts by playing around the world. We also practiced our math skills by competing in relay races, which combined our math skills with physical activity. These games were so fun that we really didn't realize that we were learning. We thought we were playing. I have noticed that many times, if students don't see a reason why they need to learn something, they probably won't learn it. They may complete the assignment. They may even make a perfect score. But learning is a different story, and retaining the new knowledge is even more doubtful. The teacher may have taught the material, but that doesn't mean the students learned anything. The truth is that although we link the two concepts together in our minds, teaching and learning often occur in the absence of each other. We already knew that teaching often happens without learning, but did you ever stop to think about the fact that learning often happens without teaching? As I considered my own style of learning and my thoughts towards teaching, I realized that if we're going to overcome disengagement and classroom apathy, we must be willing to try something new. We must be willing to make the task relevant for our students. What if, instead of creating questions for my students to answer, I could get my students to ask these questions themselves? And what if they wrote these math questions without me even having to direct them to do so? How could this even happen? It can happen, and does happen in project-based learning. What if I asked my students to create a fantasy football league and give detailed explanations about why they chose each player? If I also encouraged collaboration, I could certainly expect to hear some spirited conversations. These conversations would naturally lead students to look up and apply statistics and even make predictions based on the statistics. What I'm getting at here is that the way our students learn is actually more important than what we are teaching. I'll never forget one night when I carried my son to his crib to put him down for the night. As I walked past the light switch, I flicked it off. My son, less than a year old, not yet walking or speaking, noticed that I had flicked the switch and the hallway got darker. He immediately gestured for me to back up, and he reached out and he flicked the switch on and off, staring at the light fixture as he did this. I did not teach my son to turn the light on and off, but he had learned anyway, because he had a question that he wanted answered. And because this was a significant experience for him, he learned how to use the switch to adjust the light. My teaching philosophy is more closely aligned with inquisitivism than any other teaching philosophy that I've read about so far. Dr. Harapnuik of Lamar University defines inquisitivism as an approach for designing and delivering web-based instruction that focuses on removing fear and using the inquisitive nature of the student as a tool for learning. A few characteristics of this philosophy include taking the fear away from learning, encouraging question asking, learning by discovering, collaboration that includes time for discussion, and real-world assignments. As a leader in education, I will bring other math teachers with me on this journey of creating significant learning experiences for our students. For our professional learning, I will create a significant learning environment for teachers, and I will encourage collaboration. When teachers realize that they had fun, were in charge of their own learning, created their own set of questions, and still completed the required objectives, it won't be a far stretch for them to realize that they could be doing this for their own students. The light bulb will go off just like it did for my son. And isn't that why we really got into teaching? To help our learners to experience that light bulb moment?